Text out of context is very dangerous. That's why I very rarely get involved in those exchanges. Because the first question I always say to the person is, listen, if you haven't watched the whole thing, this is an unfair fight. Because I'm loaded with all of the armory from everything I know I meant, through everything I said afterwards, to everything that I qualified the statement that you're going to argue about. So the one thing I first think that is the first sign to insulating oneself in that situation, because we all live online and we all find like we all kind of interact with social media in some way, shape or form. Okay, cool, wonderful. Now, when text and context obviously align, you're then dealing with the fact that everybody's going to have an opinion about something. I then look at myself and I ask myself, okay, cool, am I, like you said, in the village square with everybody, or am I making sure that through surveillance that everything that I want to happen in terms of the spirit of the village square is happening? Because I don't not want people to be heard, but I want you to be heard with the same respect that you're going to listen to someone else, or you want someone else to listen to you with. Make sense? Then there's the other space of one of the most liberating things that happened in one of our conversations. I remember I came into you and I said, Lucas, I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. If you can say something but profess to know nothing, it puts you in a pretty safe space. Because then you've just, by nature of a conversation or an interaction, you have fallen into the revelation of inspiration. And the only thing I can truly know is the things that I've experienced. And through the teachings of, obviously, you know, growing up, my parents, they brought me up. So there are certain models and things that they set in place that over a long time period, through repetition and habit, you figure out, okay, does this work or does this not work? Yeah. So then when you're in charge of what you know and it's not regulated by emotion, that's why I think so many people find themselves arguing, because a lot of arguments come from the basis of an emotionality that is based on feeling. So whichever way the tide turns, that's the way that the emotion of the situation is going to turn. Like even earlier, because there was one side that was a little bit more feeling and emotive about it, and the other side was like, I'm going to explain this, it evaporated so quickly. Yeah. Caterpillars don't hang out with butterflies. Butterflies can't hang out with caterpillars. One is used to crawling and eating its way through stuff. The other's used to flying and pollinating other stuff and decorating the world. Now, in a different moment, they were the same thing. But one chose to extend and one didn't. So then I respect the fact that we had to leave on the basis of what you could extend from or what I couldn't. And I understand it is what it is, because now our planes of living have changed. Yeah. You need branches and fruit. I need flowers and pollination.
Like you have to fall in love with every version of the person they become as well. Sort of thing.
But there's also when it's like that way.
It just is.
It just is.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a negative thing.
No, because what you're understanding is that everybody's abounding to what they are. When you are bound to what you are, how can I complain? Because it's the most authentic version of who you are and what you know. Yeah. My dad, remember that thing I said to... I know I talk about my dad a lot. I was talking to my dad about this thing that had come up and I was like, Dad, I don't know about these comments. He said, Sean, pig squeal. I said, what? He goes...
We were getting mad heat online at one point. Just
no. We were talking about something and I was talking about a reaction, and my dad chose to use an analogy of squealing pigs. And he goes, don't pigs make a... And he did the noise of when they thingy. And I said, yeah. And he goes, that's what is happening. And what he was trying to say is that when a person is resembling something that's within their nature to do, if you're aware that's what's within their nature, why are you becoming alarmed by what you already know? Did you do anything wrong? No. Did you say anything wrong? No. Was it factually correct? Yeah. So why are we having this conversation, son? Caterpillars. butterfly.